Hey, how's it going? My name is Maximus. I'm going to be breaking down a sales system and principles I've used in the roofing industry to help me with retail sales. Now, I've also worked as a public adjuster in the roofing industry and I know the insurance side of it, but it is long drawn out process and retail just makes everyone's life easier. And I'm going to show you a system and principles I've used to double and even triple my monthly income just by upping my close percentage. Now, first we're going to arrive. Once you get to either your roofing appointment or let's just say it's an online sales call, then you need to get there and you need to start building rapport or a relationship with them. And what I like to call take genuine interest in the other person. Once you take genuine interest in the other person and you start them to talk more about themselves, then they'll take interest in what you have in return. So let them talk about themselves, figure out why you're actually there, why they called you. Then you're going to get into your upfront contract or agenda. Now, delivering your upfront contract or agenda, you do need to have a bit of rapport and you need to be able to tell them or have them tell you why you are there. Once you determine why you are there, the problem you're determining to solve, then go ahead and do your upfront contract. Now, for me, it looks something like this. Hey, so last thing that we'll do today is we'll write up a contract together. We'll put you on some type of schedule to put the solution in place and get this fixed. And if financing is needed, we have that in-house. Fair enough? Now, just sit and wait and let them answer. You say fair enough just because, well, nothing is fair. Nothing is fair. You have to understand that nothing is affordable nowadays. So is it fair enough, though? Most of the time, as long as you have a half decent offer, it is going to be fair enough. So maybe they may answer, yes, okay, let's go ahead and that'll be fine, or no. What you want to get out of them is their objection, their no. Maybe they want to have more bids. Maybe they need to go talk to their wife or their dad or something. That's what you want to get out doing this upfront contract. You want to be able to get 99% of your objections through basically a questionnaire at the beginning of your appointment, because this zone right here is the trust zone. Typically, when you first meet somebody, you're not going to lie to them. So when you first arrive and start talking to somebody before you start showing them a solution, they're a lot more likely to be on your side of things and trust you. That's why you need to get all of your objections out in the front end in a polite way so that you don't have to deal with them in your close and then you're screwed. Now, once you deliver this upfront contract and you get them to say yes or no, you need to double down. So the reason that you double down is to make sure that they're giving you a real answer. Some people say yes without even listening to what they're answering to. So you want to make sure, okay, well, if we are able to find you a comfortable solution, we'll write up the contracts today, we'll get some type of schedule to get this fixed, and then if financing is needed, we have that in-house. Fair enough? Yeah, great. So it sounds like if we did find a great solution, we would be able to get this started in about 7 to 8 days. Just sit there, let them answer. You're not expecting them to be like, oh yeah, great, let's sign the contract. So you want to get them to say no. Now, once they say no, go ahead and tell them, oh yeah, I tend to get a bit ahead of myself. But homeowners I tend to run into, or people I tend to run into with this problem, think, oh, I'm going to have to go to the city for permits. I'm going to have to find my own installer. I'm going to have to go to my HOA. Look, we have that all in-house. So when you are ready to move forward, just let me know. Fair enough? You're just letting their guard down a bit by saying that so that you can move on to your next point of your presentation. And that's going to be creating your sales funnel. Your sales funnel is going to be created of a couple of things. The first structure is going to be your agenda. Having this agenda in your sales funnel is going to ensure that throughout the rest of your sales process will go smoothly. Next is going to be your rapport and your P2A. Now, this funnel right here is storing rapport. Now, the reason it's storing this rapport is so that you can take it out for your agenda, you can take it out for your P2A, and so that you can eventually take it out for your close. That's why you need to build a relationship with this person so you have that rapport to take out later on. Now, once you have this funnel built by properly doing your agenda and having a bit of rapport, comes the next part, and that's going to be your results and your product. That's going to be here, results, product. The reason you're going over these results, and for you it may be what benefit your solution brings to the table. For me, in my industry, it's going to be the terrible pictures of someone's destroyed roof. Next, you want to be going over the product. Once you build enough pain, you need to build pain and ask questions and determine what is important to this person. What's important to Suzanne might be completely different to what's important to the guy down the street. So you need to determine what's important to Suzanne. She might be moving out of her house in 10 years, so she might not need the bee's knees solution, right? Once you go over the products and determine whether A, B, C, or D is going to be the one they're choosing, then you want to deliver your personal or company why story. Now, this is a very important part of the process because people are emotional decision makers. They're not logical decision makers. The part of our brain that makes decision is completely emotional based. So you need to make sure that you connect with this person on some level. Delivering your personal why story. Now, for me, this looks something like this. Now, look, it would be completely different if I came here, Suzanne, and there wasn't any type of thing wrong with your roof. And look, I would have just shaken your hands and we would have parted ways. And it's amazing. I can show you all these different products and solutions, but that's not my job. My job is to find you something to fix your house. And look, I've seen people get scammed. I grew up, my parents had split up. My mom was a single mom, and I've seen people, oh, okay, we're going to do this, this, and that, and the other for you. And then they just completely back out of their word. Look, the only thing that at least kept my siblings and I together is saying, hey, I'm out here in the spirit of service, and I'm out here with our backs together, not our heads butting against each other trying to find a solution. So look, if we can't agree that there is an actual problem and there's some type of solution needing to be put in place, I would love for you to present that to you and we can move forward and get this problem solved. Once you deliver that, it needs to be short and sweet, something you can deliver in about 1 minute to 2 minutes. And you're probably going to want to change it up per person. It'll have like the same format and you should probably write it out. I would write it out. I writ mine out so that you can practice it. But you're not going to deliver maybe that why story to like an army vet or something. You might have to jazz it up a bit for him. Now, the P2A is going to be product to application. This goes something like find which one they like. You're going to ask them, hey, so why do you actually like it for this, this, and this, and the value that this brings? Okay, great. Then you're going to ask them, why do you think that XYZ company is going to be your contractor of choice? And then wait for them to answer. Okay, well, I think you've done an amazing job and you've had a thorough inspection or you've actually showed me a solution that can fix a lot of my problems. Pretty much told you have this sale. You just don't need to fuck up the rest of it. Close and get the paperwork. Now, last thing in the P2A is going to be, we're going to ask them, okay, well, that brings me to the most important question. Other than affordability, and that's my forte, but other than that, is there anything that would stop you from getting option B here? Is the expense or whatever they say. 1 and 3 investment categories. Now, determining on how much your solution actually costs, you're obviously going to but I always ask them once they tell me, no, that's really the only thing stopping me. Okay, so the families I'm able to help fit within 1 of 3 monthly investment categories or payments. Now, if you're trying to pay this off relatively soon, anywhere between $500 and $600 a month. And if you're in the middle, anywhere between $400 and $500 a month. Maybe you have an interest-bearing account and are just trying to keep your money somewhere where it's growing, anywhere between $300 and $400 a month. Now, for you, what is going to be comfortable? Now, if you've done everything right, they should be able to just answer this question right away. But a lot of people you run into, oh, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? They just want the full price. They just want the full price. Just go ahead and tell doing is preparing you a comprehensive bid. I'm going to include the full price, what a monthly investment would look like if you decided to space it out, and what it looks like, so that you can make the most educated decision, whether it's financed or cash, whatever is the most comfortable solution. But that being said, what would be a comfortable monthly investment? Okay, well, any of them or whatever. So let's just say they pick $300 to $400 a month. Then you're going to want to get their down payment or initial deposit. And I would say something along the lines of, for size, you're going to look anywhere between 3 to 4,500. Some of the families I help have some type of emergency fund, but a lot of families I helped are on some type of fixed income. So what would be comfortable in your situation? Just shut up, let them talk. And if they don't give you an answer, say, hey, I can't make you any promises, but I have helped some families where they were able to do nothing down. Is that something that would interest you? Okay, great. If they tell you, oh, I would prefer nothing down, great, now you know where to go. You have nothing down and 300 to 400 a month that they've stated, and this is where you get the deal. So it sounds like to me, if we're able to get you option B or even A from what you've told me, between 3 a month with nothing down, be able to earn your business consideration. Yep. Now, once they give it careful consideration, you start to go into your close, your actual sequence. This is you delivering your product and price. Now, your first product needs to kind of blow them out to be a full tile job. It's going to be we're redoing your underlayment, battens, and we're replacing all of your tiles. Now, a lot of the times, if it's a 20, 15-year-old home, and they just have the original builders need new. So a lot of the times I just like presenting this so they know what it costs, and it kind of reality checks them a bit. Now, upgrade and get the full tile so you never have to worry about this again. Now you're expecting a no. Maybe you just want to sell them the B. Maybe you actually do want to sell them the A. You don't want to tell them maybe they don't need this. Of course they need it. If they're planning to stay in this house or even sell it, the amount of money that they get out of doing their roof is astronomical. It raises the value of a property about 8% a year. You can look it up. Now, say they say, well, no, that's a bit off of where I'm at. Okay, great. I'll move on. And I think we're focused on this one a bit more anyways. Let me see what that comes to. Once you have your price book or you figure out how much this option actually costs, before you write it out, you're going to want to bring them back to their results. They need to be reality checked again, and you need to raise their pain level again to understand, hey, this solution is good for them. They need to do it. It's going to solve a problem that they have. Then once you deliver your results and your product, everything, all the value it brings, you're going to come back to option B here. Now, let's just say option B costs $36,000. You're going to go ahead and rate it out like this. Okay, option B is going to bring you this, that, and the other, all these components, and a 25-year warranty, and that comes to $36,000 or $750 a month. Now, this is the actual product we're focused on here. Would you want to get your leaks fixed and everything solved, and we'll go ahead and start the job in about 7 days? Reach your hand out, ask for their business in a way that appeals to them, and just sit quiet. Now say he says no. And he's like, okay, well, that's still a bit off of my $300, $400 a month. No, look, I understand, and that's actually why I asked you this, is so we can figure out what's comfortable. So then you go to option C. Now, you're not downplaying option B or C the whole time. You're downplaying option D. Option D is going to be your get out of Dodge card for really people who they need a solution, but it is actually an affordability issue. Okay, so I know that option C, you weren't necessarily focused on option B, but it is you weren't necessarily focused on it. You were focused on option B, but option C is going to solve all of your problems. In fact, this is actually our most popular option, and it gets the job done very well. And I know that my company is going to do a fantastic job installing it. Now, this one comes to $29700, or right around $580 a month on average credit. Would you want to go ahead and move forward with option C? Okay, well, it's a bit off of where I'm at. Why are your numbers off? You should have prepared for this. This is correct. You are preparing for it. The whole time you've been telling this guy this is on average credit. An average credit is right around $650 a month. Now let's just say they have a $700 a month credit. Now for most financiers, having that type of credit score, the monthly that they would actually receive is going to be a bit lower. Okay, so once you ask them, hey, like I said, this was based off of average credit. How much is your credit? Or what is your credit score? Once they answer, you know what it is. Okay, now I have a better understanding of the financial situation here. Let me get you some more accurate numbers. So based off of what you've told me, it would actually be right around $700 a month for option A, $500 a month for option B, And if you went ahead and moved forward with option C and authorized me to get this started, it'd be $375 a month with nothing down, and I'll welcome you to the family. Now, you should be able to earn their business at this point. You're right around the 300 to 400 that they've stated with 0 down. If they do have any more objections, this is where a price drop comes in,